My name is Adedayo Ayorinde. I'm the project coordinator for Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project, which is under the Governor's Office in Oyo State. The project came into existence as a result of the flood disaster of 2011 in Ibadan, which resulted into deaths of many people and loss of properties and livelihoods. Many infrastructures were damaged. Culverts, bridges, roads were washed away. And this enormous loss led to the putting together of the project to address the flood menace in Ibadan in a comprehensive manner by the Oyo State government. The Oyo State government put this project together and they sought the assistance of the World Bank, which they got to put in place an 8-year project where various components were put together for implementation. The implementation of the project, like I said, as a result of the flood disaster of 2011 in Ibadan, which resulted into deaths of many people and loss of properties and livelihoods. Many infrastructures were damaged. Culverts, bridges, roads were washed away. And this enormous loss led to the putting together of the project to address the flood menace in Ibadan in a comprehensive manner by the Oyo State government. The Oyo State government put this project together and they sought the assistance of the World Bank, which they got to put in place an 8-year project where various components were put together for implementation. The implementation of the project, like I said, covers areas such as putting in place of reconstruction of damaged infrastructures like bridges and culverts and approach roads, as well as channelizations of flood-prone rivers and streams in the city. Before this commenced, there are 3 master plans were prepared because Ibadan City did not have any of these developmental plans. We have under the project prepared 3 master plans. These are the City Master Plan, the Drainage Master Plan, and the Solid Waste Management Master Plan. The City Master Plan more or less helped in guiding the growth of the city and also addressing the infrastructure decay and urban slum that we have within the city. All these have been packaged in the new master plan that have been prepared and which is now being implemented by the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. And secondly, the Drainage Master Plan, which has also been completed, was prepared to identify flood-prone rivers in the city and also identify inadequate covers and bridges that needs to be replaced during a period of the next 20 years. The various specifications which will make flood water to be properly collected and discharged effectively without causing flooding in the city have been identified and they have been prepared into the Drainage Master Plan document. And these will guide the implementation and the construction of drainage channels and covers and bridges in Ibadan City over the next 20 years. Under the project, some of these channelization works have been identified. And under the project, we have the channelization, the first and foremost, the reconstruction of 18 priority sites which include bridges and culverts at different locations, and approach roads and drainage in 18 locations in Ibadan. These include Ola Adua, Shasha Osajin in Ido local government, Sele Rainbow, and Foworogu Bridge, Ishokun Bridge, Ebenezeri Bridge, and the likes, which cut across the city. And these have been completed, and these are being used by the people, and they are no longer cut off when there are rains, because before, these bridges that are either damaged or washed away, whenever it rains, people are cut off. They cannot cross from one side of the community to the other. But all these 18 bridges and culverts have been reconstructed, and they are being used by the people. And we can say for sure that in all these 18 locations in Ibadan, the issue of flooding is a thing of the past. And more comprehensively, the Drainage Master Plan has identified at least 4 streams and rivers in Ibadan which need to be channelized, which over the time people's properties have been affected, and their livelihoods affected as well, because these streams have over time flooded these houses and livelihoods that operates around them. So under this project, we have the channelization of Agodi stream, which starts from somewhere in Okolaba here and goes through behind the Ministry of Environment into Old Bodija and ends up behind the Agodi Gardens. So all these areas are being flooded year in, year out, and the channelization work is about starting now. And in the next 18 months, these and others in Ugbiri, and Orogun, and Kudeti will be constructed. And all these streams and properties around there will be free of being flooded. And more importantly, too, later, around December, we will have which the channelization of Ona River. The bidding process is ongoing. By then, we believe that the selection of a preferred bidder would have been completed, and this contract will equally be awarded. And so we see Ona River being channelized over several kilometers. Ona River actually have its source around Akinyele local government area, where about 19 dikes will be constructed to reduce the rate of flow of water, which will help in reducing flooding in the city. And the part of the city that the Ona River will be channelized, it will start from somewhere in Odoona, and it will go through Oliole Estate, and goes through to New Garage area. So all these areas hitherto have experienced flooding, and we believe this channelization will help in mitigating the issue of flooding, and these areas will be completely they will no longer experience flooding again. The important thing that Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project have brought in terms of its contribution is that we have seen that the master plans have afforded various MDAs in Oyo State to have proper tool to really plan Ibadan and to ensure that the issue of flooding is addressed in a strategic manner. And so we now have the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, where we have physical planning, being able to have the appropriate tool to manage the city of Ibadan and ensure that the growth of the city is guided. Similarly, the Ministry of Environment equally have the Drainage Master Plan, with which they can address the issue of flooding. And most importantly, the Solid Waste Management Master Plan that is being prepared will help the city to effectively manage the solid waste problem that have been affecting the city over time. When we see most of our drainages and streams, we find out that they are filled with solid waste. So the solid waste master plan that is in the process of being prepared, we offer the Waste Management Authority the appropriate strategy to be able to deal with the problem of solid waste. And so we will eventually have a city where the issue of waste will be effectively addressed, and it will no longer be a factor to the issue of flooding in the city.